Welcome back. My name is Steve Kirby. The 13th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution prohibits slavery, but Islam allows it. In the Quran, there are numerous verses acknowledging and accepting the Muslim possession of slaves. For example, these Quran verses explain how Muslims should act around or treat their slaves, with slavery being an accepted condition. And these three Quran verses talk about a Muslim freeing a slave, not because slavery was wrong, but rather in atonement for a Muslim's misdeed. Muhammad spoke for Allah and is considered Islam's timeless, perfect man, whose teachings and example should be followed by Muslims. There are numerous authoritative reports about Muhammad's involvement in the slave trade. After the defeat of the Jewish Banu Qurayza tribe in 627 AD, Muhammad divided up that tribe's property, wives, and children among the Muslims, but some of the women he sent to Najd and to Syria to be sold for horses and weapons. Muhammad also personally sold some of the other captured women. Here's a report about that. I attended the messenger of God who was selling the prisoners of the Banu Qurayza. Abu al-Sham al-Yahudi bought 2 women, with each one of them 3 male children, for 150 dinars. On another occasion, after the defeat of the Jews at Khaybar in 628 AD, Muhammad had the women of Khaybar distributed among the Muslims. When Muhammad found out that a black slave girl of his had given birth to an illegitimate child, he ordered that she be flogged with 50 lashes after she recovered from her postpartum bleeding. Muhammad did not free his own slaves until the day before he died in June of 632 AD. There's a phrase that designates a special category of slaves under Islam, whom your right hand possesses. A non-Muslim woman captured by Muslims during a battle falls under this category. She becomes a slave to her Muslim captor, and it becomes illegal for him to have intercourse with her. This is authorized by Quran 4:24, which begins by talking about how Muslim men are forbidden from marrying and having sex with women who are already married. But then this verse makes an important exception. Except those slaves whom your right hands possess. Thus has Allah ordained for you. The Muslim scholar Ibn Kathir explained the meaning of this verse. The ayah verse means, you are prohibited from marrying women who are already married, except those whom your right hands possess, except those whom you acquire through war, for you are allowed such women after making sure they are not pregnant. Abu Sa'id al-Khudri said, we captured some non-Muslim women who were already married, and we disliked having sexual relations with them because they already had husbands. So we asked the Prophet about this matter, and this ayah was revealed. Consequently, we had sexual relations with these women. So instead of Muhammad prohibiting his Muslim warriors from raping their captives, Quran 4:24 was revealed to him, giving his Muslim warriors Allah's authorization to go ahead and rape those non-Muslim women. It should therefore come as no surprise that the founders of the 4 major Sunni schools of Islamic sacred law in the 8th and 9th centuries also believed that when a married woman becomes a prisoner of war without her husband, her contract of marriage with her husband ends, and her new master has the right to have sexual relations with her after the birth of a child if she is pregnant, or after waiting a while to confirm the status of her womb if she is not apparently pregnant. Has there been any change over the centuries in the understanding of the phrase, those who your right hand possesses? The answer is no. Here are some questions and answers from a pamphlet issued in 2015 by the jihadist group ISIS. What is al-Sabi? Al-Sabi is a woman from among al-Harb, the people of war, meaning non-Muslims, who has been captured by Muslims. Is it permissible to have intercourse with a female captive? It is permissible to have sexual intercourse with the female captive. Allah the Almighty said, successful are the believers who guard their chastity, except from their wives or the captives and slaves that their right hands possess. Is it permissible to have intercourse with a female captive immediately after taking possession of her? If she is a virgin, he, her master, can have intercourse with her immediately after taking possession of her. However, if she isn't, her uterus must be purified first. The phrase, those who your right hand possesses, is still relevant today. And in terms of general slavery, slavery still exists today in some Muslim majority countries, and that slavery is considered to be a mercy for those so enslaved. Here is what the modern popular book Minhaj al-Muslim, The Way of the Muslim, has to say about slavery. Islam is the true religion of Allah, and it has not allowed any of these reasons for slavery except one, which is taking slaves through war. This is a mercy for humans. Islam allowed its followers to take the women and children as slaves, firstly in order to preserve their lives, and secondly, to facilitate their happiness and their eventual liberation. This statement is soon followed by a section titled Laws Regarding the Slave, showing the current laws under Islam when it comes to dealing with slaves. But aren't we told that Islam requires Muslims to free their slaves? Here is the modern answer. If someone says, why does Islam not obligate the manumission of slaves, making it something mandatory that the Muslim must do? We say, Islam came while slaves were already possessed by people. It is not befitting the just law, Sharia of Allah, to obligate people to abandon all of their possessions. Likewise, it is not in the best interest of many of the slaves to be set free, as there are among them women and children and even men who are not able to be self-sufficient. This is because they may lack the ability to earn wages, and they may be ignorant of the ways to acquire it. Therefore, remaining a slave with his Muslim master is thousands of times better than expelling him from the house that was kind and merciful to him, to the nightmare of being without and being deprived. The 13th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution prohibits slavery, but slavery, and sex slavery in particular, are still allowed under Islam, and it is considered a mercy for those so enslaved. In the next video, we will look at the conflict between Islam and the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. I encourage you to post these video series on social media and tell your friends in conservative groups about these videos. Thank you, and I look forward to being with you again soon.